All right, so, okay. Oh. Yes.
Can I have some? This one, can I have some? Okay, wait, hold on.
Welcome, the executive.
Thank you.
How has your day been?
Fine. How are you?
I am good. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm sure people will start coming in. So let us begin. And as people join us, they will make their contributions and all. So welcome to the final session on this book. Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Hello, Irene. So we know that, this book gave us a lot of hints on how to interact, right? How to sell our ideas, how to convince other people. Here, it encourages us to think new thoughts, acquire new visions, discover new ambitions, and then, gave techniques and ideas on how to make friends quickly and easily, and then increase your popularity, win people to your way of thinking, which is very, very essential when you are getting people to be weaned off of some form of ideas they've had in the past regarding the type of business we're in. So how do you win those type of people to your way of thinking so they begin to see what you see in this business, and then increase your influence, your prestige, your ability to get things done. This is very, very essential, as a leader, building a formidable team. And then there will be times where, complaints will come in from customers, from clients, and, we'll need to know how to handle those, and then the techniques and ideas on how to avoid arguments and keep human contact smooth and pleasant, and then become a better speaker, a more entertaining conversationalist, somebody that people wants to listen to, right? People wants to have discussion with you because of the way you make them feel, because of the way, you get your presentation across, and then arouse enthusiasm among your associates. We've been working on part 4 for the past 3 weeks now, and we're concluding that today, and that wraps up this book. And as we have shared on the WhatsApp group, the next book we're looking into is we're looking to review. We're starting next week by God's grace, is The Psychology of Money. Psychology of money, of things around money that we need to unlearn, and new things we need to, unlearn some things about money from what we grew up with, and then learn new things about money that will help us, heal our relationship with money, right? And get us into, instead of being a slave of money, we'll become a master of money, because it's essential. Money is a tool. If you don't know how to use a tool, like the formidable Dr. Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe would say, when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. And money, it just has a way of doing, it has a soul of its own in some form of way, right? And as scriptures will say, that money develops wings and fly away. So the way we think about money is very, very essential, especially now that we are making it. When we have access, we have tools to bring us those money. So how do we, relate with it so we can keep more of it, we can multiply it, we can use it to do good and stop using people to make money, all of those things. So it's going to be an amazing time. So be ready. Be ready. So today we're starting with this principle 6, and it talks about praise the slightest improvement in people and praise every improvement. Be arty in your approbation and lavish in your praise. This is a continuation from last week, right? Where we have to be able to, instead of putting magnifying glass on the inadequacies of people, we need to rather, just overlook, and within that, possibly within that inadequacy or beyond that inadequacy, look frantically and in detail, look for the positives, the good that one can praise, right? Because within a rotten fruit, there is a seed. There will be a good seed that you can definitely use. And let's look at it. For a seed to grow and become useful, it becomes rotten, anyway, right? So we need, no matter how terrible a person is, no matter how lazy they might be, no matter how unreasonable as a customer, as a partner, no matter how unreasonable they might be, there will be something in them that we can, amplify as a means of praise, to say, okay, this is what I want to see more in you, because this is the way it works. When whatever we pay attention to, it is that thing that grows. Whatever we pay attention to is what grows. So instead of paying attention to the negative and then continue to see more and more negative, and then it continues to amplify, we ignore, put aside, look beyond the negative and look for the positive, and then use that opportunity to bring the positive out of that person. Let's look at this. Excellent. Let's look at this statement here. It says, use of praise instead of criticism is the basic concept of B.F. Skinner's teachings. This great contemporary experiment with animals and with humans, that when criticism is minimized and praise emphasized, the good things people do will be reinforced, and the poorer things will atrophy for lack of attention. So we must starve the poorer things. We must starve the bad behavior. We must starve the inadequacies of people, to atrophy. Starve it of attention, right? And look, however, let's be experts in looking for what is good in people. And I know, I was looking at this book was written, I think 1939, thereabout, I think. I was checking it out earlier. So if it works for, in those years, since those years, definitely it's going to work for us as well in our personal life and in business. So let us definitely, pick some of these things and reinforce them. If you and I will inspire the people with whom we come in contact to a realization of the hidden treasures they possess, we can do far more than change people. We can literally transform them. Okay? So this tells us that there is, no matter how bad that person is, there's something good in them. And a lot of people, because they've heard of the bad things they do all the time, that's the only thing that their mind suggests to them to do, because that's what they've assumed the identity of being lazy. They've assumed the identity of being late to events. They've assumed the identity of being tired, or of being the last person to do some form of exercise. They've assumed, that character, that identity of, not being industrial, not being productive. But if we are able to see beyond that and emphasize and, amplify whatever thing that is positive in them, definitely they too will feel flattered initially, because they might not even know, right? They might not even know they are capable of that. And there's a section of this book that we're going to look into that, that at a point you might actually give people a reputation they would have to look forward to live up to. Basically, like the scripture says about Abraham, he says he calls those things that be not as though they are. So you might have to give a person, after you've looked for the good thing, and it seems like time is running out, you cannot find in them what they have expressed as a good thing to you. You might need to give them a reputation to live up to. Now, we're gonna get to that. So there we have the abilities wither rather under criticism, they blossom under encouragement. So now, how do we encourage our members? How do we encourage people that we are leaders over to be able to see the best in themselves, to be able to see their own abilities, to be able to, get them to want to be who they, who we've seen them that it can be. And that is the work of a coach. That is what most of us will have to be able to coach these people, to coach greatness out of them, so that they can see themselves they can see their future self as you walk with them. They will see their future self in the way you speak to them. They will, these are people you will speak to, and they will look back and say, is she talking to me? And, you will speak about them or speak to them or about them, and they will like, that she's not talking to me. Because they know that is beyond them. That what you're saying is more than what they've ever been or what they've ever expressed. And now, bringing them to the realization that they are capable of it, they will want to live up to it. It might take time from one person to another, but definitely it's worth all of the efforts. It's worth all of the efforts. So the next one, and this is where this is the technique I was referring to earlier, right? He says, give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. That is the principle number 7. And he says, give a dog a good name. Give a dog a good name. And I think there's a story here that I wanted to share. Let me see. Yes. So before that, I have a note here. Shakespeare said, assume a virtue. While we're going through this, of course, we're talking about human relations, right? I picture situations in my own home. I picture situations in my business with my team, picture situations in my church, for example, in, public places where I engage other people in my day-to-day interaction. I frequent the banks now. So I picture my interaction with the, folks in the bank, how I relate with them and all of that. So when we are going through this, we need to ensure that we are able to put ourselves mirror situations that will give us that will be able to see ourselves exercising these things, practicing what we are picking up. It says, assume a virtue. If you have it not, it might be well to assume. Oh, sorry, let me reread that. Assume a virtue if you have it not. That is the main point. Assume a virtue if you have it not. If we recall the Atomic Habits, the core message of that book was, don't try to do something because you want to develop the habit. Do it as a person that does those things. In other words, have a picture of the kind of people that does that thing. Like you want to develop a habit of reading a book. Who are the people that read books? You want to develop a habit of, training yourself, exercising every day. Who are the kind of people that exercise every day? So from there on, you begin to identify yourself as a lover of books. You're a reader of books. You read books, and then you're an athlete. You exercise, right? So you identify as that person. You give yourself that identity, and then you live up to it. Assume the identity and live up to it. And Shakespeare puts it this way: assume a virtue if you have it not. I'm going to pause here, right? And give us a minute to think of a virtue that we desire to have, that we've coveted in other people. These other people do this well, right? They make sales easily. How do they do it? They're able to recruit. Are you a person that wants to be able to recruit, or are you, experts in recruiting? So assume that virtue. Assume that virtue, or think of that virtue now, and then assume it. That is me. That is who I am from today on. That is who I am. I'm a lovable person. That is who I am, right? I'm an interesting individual. That is who I am. I manage. I'm very what is it called now when it comes to money? Very prudent with money. I'm a good money manager. That is who I am. What other things? Suggestions. Let's give ideas. What virtue do you want to assume? Right? You are a 5 a.m. club member. You are now a member of the 5 a.m. club. Waking up every day at 5 a.m. That is who I am. Right? So let's look at that virtue and assume it. And then it continues, and it might be well to assume and state openly that other people have the virtue you want them to develop. So in applying that principle now, using it on other people, with other people, what are the things, like, with your team, what are the things, what kind of persons? I love our meeting with Sparkle Queen the other day, and we finished the meeting with who are the kind of people you want to partner with, you want to be reaching out to, or to want to do business with, or to partner with. Who are your ideal person, ideal people. Who are your ideal people? Ideal client, ideal customers. What kind of people do you want to, do you want to have on your team? Right? So knowing that this is from today on, this is the type of person I want on my team. Of course, you cannot go now to the back office and begin to, oh, this one does not have that virtue, out. You don't have that virtue, out. This other person don't have that virtue, out of my team. You cannot sack anybody. You can't let go anyone on your team right now that do not have the virtue that you've just stated, that you want to see, in the members of your team. So what do you then do? For all the other people, of course, we've settled from here on, I will only attract these type of individuals. Only these type of individuals will reach out to me to engage me in business. Only this type of individual will I be led to reach out to talk about this business. So we are settled going forward. But now you have you have a lot of people in your team already. And we are saying, how do you get those people to live up to this virtue that you have set as your type of people? Exactly. So now you can shape, as Shakira is stating here, you can shape the current ones into thinking the way you want them to think. And that's why we are reviewing this book. That's why what we are learning here. So you state openly that other people have the virtue you want them to develop. Now, this is the trick. Number one, you state it openly. You say it to their hearing, right? That they already have it. This is a virtue you want them to develop, but what are you doing? You are stating it to their hearing that they already have that virtue. Give them a fine reputation to live up to, and they will make prodigious efforts rather than see you disillusioned. It's amazing. It works. It works, and we just need to apply it, in transforming people. So who are your ideal clients? So look back. Yeah, I agree. It's really good. So look back to into your team right now, be it in your workplace, in the office, your colleagues, or the people that you lead in. Who are those people that are not yet at par with the value, with the virtue to the point that you want them to be? Now, say it to their hearing that they already have that virtue, and give them a month. Try it for a week and see how things will begin to improve, and then continue with it. And you'll marvel at how the transformation will be. Bill Parker, a sales representative for a food company in Daytona Beach, Florida, was very excited about a new line of product his company was introducing, and was upset when the manager of a large independent food market turned down the opportunity to carry it in a store. This is a scenario that's very, very applicable to us, right? You have a new product that your company is introduced, and you want to, show it to your existing clients, prospective clients, or customers, and all that. Bill brooded all day over this rejection and decided to return to the store before he went home that evening and try again. There was this exercise we did a while back, going to spas and showing them this product. All right. this might be a good, a lesson to learn, and see if we can revisit those paths that I've said, oh, I don't want to carry this and all that, right? Jackie said, since I left this morning, I realized I hadn't given you the entire picture of our new line, and I would appreciate some of your time to tell you about the points I omitted. Now, this is the ingredient that he used in his presentation. He said, I have respected the fact that you are always willing, look at that, always willing to listen, and are big enough to change your mind when the facts warrant a change. Right? Going back to such customers and tell them this, I have respected the fact that you are always willing to listen and are big enough to change your mind when the facts warrant a change. You know, who would turn that down? So definitely that right there, you're telling the person they are willing to listen to you. And you're telling them that they're smart and big enough to change their mind if all the things you're going to share with them make sense. So you have called them two things, right? They are always willing to listen. They are patient to listen to you. And two, that they are smart, right? So it's an amazing opportunity to affirm them and get them to the level, the virtue that you want them to, in relation with you, that you want them to possess. All right. So yes. All right. So basically, give the other person, if you want to excel in that difficult leadership role of changing the attitude or behavior of others, use the principle number 7. Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. I would say this one, start with yourself. Like the exercise we had earlier, what virtue are you trying to, assume right now? And then assume that virtue and then live up to it. Okay. Any comments on that before we move on? And that was principle number 7. So we've dealt with principle 6 and 7, and then the last 2 is where we are going right now. Let me see the comments. Okay. All right. Principle number 8. Make the fault seem easy to correct. This one, I mean, it works in all cases. And at the end of the day, when there is a fault, okay, he says use encouragement, make the fault seem easy to correct. When there is a fault, when somebody makes a mistake, depending on how we handle it, if we make a big deal out of it, number one, it has the potential of blocking our mind to how to resolve it. And it has the potential of shutting down the person that, that made the mistake of seeing ways to redeem themselves and make things right. It just shuts them down. Because when we blow it and make a big deal out of their mistakes, you unknowingly, you might be reminding them of what people have told them many times in the past, that they are inadequate, they can't do something right, and they will always be a failure. And once people resign and get affirmed in such negativity, you will not be able to see the way out. You won't be able to improve. You won't see yourself being able to improve. He says here, be liberal. Let me read the whole paragraph. He says, tell your child, your spouse, or your employee that he or she is stupid or dumb at a certain thing, has no gift for it, or is doing it all wrong, and you have destroyed almost every incentive to try to improve. So when you blow out of, just make a big deal out of somebody's error, you're just telling them they are no good. And when people believe that they are no good, they don't have that will encourage them to want to be better than what has happened. Now, what is the opposite technique that we are encouraged to use? It says, be liberal with your encouragement. Make the things seem easy to do. Let the other person know that you have faith in their ability to do it, that they have an undeveloped flair for it, and they will practice until the dawn comes in the window in order to excel. So when we are able to, in the face of their error and faults, we are still able to make them see they are better than that. You're still able to make them see that they have some untapped potential there. You're still able to make them see there's treasure in them, right? Then they have something to look forward to. And that's the incentive. And when they have something to look forward to, they will, and you give them that virtue to live up to, they will do everything within their power to live. That is powerful in every way. Okay? So that is the eighth principle there. If you want to help others to improve, number 8, use encouragement for the blunder. We can definitely look past it, tell them it's no big deal. We can correct it. Somebody make the wrong order, sent you the wrong order, a downline sends you, they need your help in making orders and they messed it up. No big deal, and we work on things that they are good at, right? And correct the orders for them. And instead of taking the task away from them, right, give them the same task until they, this next principle, this last one, it makes me remember, make the other person happy about doing the thing you suggest. Making people glad to do what you want. This particular one, it makes me remember, this common saying, or is it a saying or maybe a practice that I guess it's a saying, that let me just say it as scattered as it's coming to me, then we'll put it together as we go. That if you want your house to be safe from robbers, that within the neighborhood, if you identify the hooligan, the robber within that neighborhood, and you now give that robber the task of making sure your home is safe, there's no one that will bother you, that will disturb you. Now, of course, a lot of people might have used that strategy, to the detriment of the people and not improve them. We know these politicians do that all the time. The rich people in the neighborhoods, they do that all the time. That's where, at least in Nigeria, that's where you see, babasa, all that. When you're coming into the neighborhood and they know you are the big guy in the neighborhood, because you have shown to them that you believe in their ability to keep things safe, though they are the one that cuts it away. with others, but you want to bring the virtue out of them. Now, let's go. Let me see some of the stories I highlighted here. If I have any, no, I don't have any highlighted as stories, but the main thing here, let me see if I can see one. Aha, this particular one, I just didn't highlight it, is one of the ones I was looking at. Let's see. Aha, this particular one here. It says, Ferrier of Fort Wayne, Indiana, told how he encouraged one of his young children to willingly do the chore he was assigned. This one would be a good one to come back to, but the one I wanted to actually, the one I want to use to buttress the point I'm trying to make. Let me see. No. Okay, I'll just say this one. So it says one of Jeff's chores was to pick up pears from under the pear tree, so the person who was mowing underneath wouldn't have to stop to pick them up. He didn't like the chore, and frequently it was either not done at all, or it was done so poorly that the mower had to stop and pick up several pears that he had missed. Rather than have an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation about it, one day I said to him, Jeff, I'll make a deal with you. For every bushel basket full of pears you pick up, I'll pay you $1. But after you are finished, for every pear I find left in the yard, I'll take away $1. How does that sound? As you will expect, he not only picked up all the pears, but I had to keep an eye on him to see that he didn't pull a few of the trees to fill up some of the baskets. Right, so this is an opportunity to encourage somebody that was lazy and wouldn't want to do something, a way to encourage them to do their chores, to do their, what they're supposed to do. And if you look, these are incentives. And if you see that even with network marketing, that's where you see if challenges will be out. That's where you see, incentives will be out when you the double the points that was done the last time. That was an amazing one that was, given to everybody to work. That if you can make this number of points, definitely will match whatever points you make 100%. And that is an amazing incentive to encourage people to do what they ought to do. All right. Then this other one, let's see. No, that one, it's okay. Aha, this is the one I was looking for. Let's see. Now, Gunther Schmidt, who took our course in West Germany, told of an employee in the food store he managed who was negligent about putting the proper price tags on the shelves where the items were displayed. This person was blatantly negligent. This caused confusion and customer complaints. Reminders, admonitions, confrontations with her about this did not do much good. Finally, Mr. Schmidt called her into his office and told her he was appointing her supervisor of price tag posting for the entire store, and she will be responsible for keeping all the shelves properly tagged. Normally on a good day, the proper way is when you see the effort that somebody is putting in, you promote them for it. There are some promotion that comes as a result of, pushing that person to do what they are capable of doing in the first place, right? It says the new responsibility and title changed her attitude completely, and she fulfilled her duties satisfactorily from then on. Childish, perhaps, but that is what they said to Napoleon when he created the Legion of Honor and distributed 15,000 crosses to his soldiers, and made 18 of his generals marshals of France, and called his troops the Grand Army. Napoleon was criticized for giving toys to war-hardened veterans, and Napoleon replied, "Men are ruled by toys." So when you're talking about titles, responsibilities, all of that, it has a way of boosting, the self-esteem of people, and they have that reputation to live up to. In your team, if you have somebody that is, always late to events, give them something to do at the event, right? Give them something to do at the event, and see, of course, something that will make them be there on time, and see, see if that person has what it takes in them. And of course, if you find after giving them trials that, the opportunities, and you still find that they're still negligent, of course, then it's a matter of that person is not, they don't want the best for themselves. But this, from what we have seen, works with most people. It works with most people. All right, that is the end of this book. And I'll leave the floor open for any contribution, question, any feedback, and all of that. Anyone?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Diana.
Thank you so much for your presentation about this book. On my side, when I was reading this,
Is it just me? Your audio is low.
hello, can you hear me now?
Better now. Better now.
Okay. My contribution is, when you read this book, you have to be careful. Like I was sharing now and then. So you have to be careful for you to succeed. There are some situations where it applies 100%, but there are some situations where you need to be careful. That's all I have to contribute. That's like a summary of this book, the entire book. It's very good to understand people and everything, but also you need to be very careful. Not all the time it will apply. Yeah, that's from me.
Wow. Okay. So you're saying we need to have a discerning cap on when dealing with individuals. I mean, with the main thing, right? Like you're saying now, we relate in different, to different peoples, right? In our lives, we have our homes, we have people we work with, we have people we do business with. So definitely in one regard or the other, we can see how this can be applied. But giving opportunity and looking, being able to see where this can apply, and once it's applied and we see that this person, they're not ready to learn, they're not ready to exert themselves, easily you divert attention to other people, to other efforts. Definitely I agree. All right, thank you for that contribution. Yes. Thanks. All right, any question? Yeah, it's for human relations, yes, and how to handle people. It's been very helpful for me, really. Very, very helpful. Very helpful. Very good. All right, I think that's it for us today.
Are we done with the book now?
Yes, that's it. That's it for the book.
Oh wow, I still have to finish my own.
Oh yeah, you have not finished?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's
taking
the
my
last
time
part.
to write out. So.
Yeah, that's part 4. Though there's a part 5, but that's more like background on the author.
Okay.
How it came about, I mean, his journey is just amazing. It's amazing. And it'll be a good read, definitely. He had an amazing journey. All right. So the next book, like I said, is Psychology of Money, and we'll start that next week, as God will help us, and we'll see. And please, if you're able to review with me a chapter or so, let me know, and then we can come up together and we'll have time, allot time as we used to do before, allot time to, for individuals to review. So I need about, let me see how many chapters, because the book is not that big, but it has lots of chapters. So here we have about 20 chapters. So we'll say maybe 5 chapters in a week. We'll start with that to see where we can go from there. It's less than 300, about 250 something pages. Right. So I'm sure it's going to be a good read. Yeah. So please let me know. Well, we have also to find the book, The Total Money Makeover. Nice. Excellent. So please let me know if you will be willing to review with me, and we'll get going on that. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for coming today. We have I see a lot of new faces. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming. God bless you. Bye, everybody.